Good morning. I had an idea. And the problem with ideas and doing something that's never been done before is that there's no plan to do it. There's like an idea, but there's no like exact plans that you can download or you can mimic. It's just an idea. And the reason why I think that I can execute this idea is because of this piece of leather that I made in 2020 with scrap leather. This is my hope for this idea. And I really don't think anyone's ever done this before. But it has, if I can do it correctly, it's an item that will have soul to it. Yes, there's other items that can do it, but not with soul, if that makes sense. This is a catch-all. Fake leather on the outside with a lining on the inside and 4 snaps. When you snap them, you create a space where you throw your items in that you have in your pockets that you carry every day. But what if you had a catch-all with a little bit more character? So what I want to do is I want to put layers of leather together and glue them and smash them down. Let them set, let the glue settle, and I want to carve out a catch-all. And I've never done anything like that. I don't know if it's even possible. But the closest thing I can think of is when someone tries to carve something out of a piece of wood, a solid piece of wood, and you just chip away at it. Like this right here is made out of 5 pieces, and you can see the different layers of color. And this is kind of like the idea I want to be doing, except in a very bigger scale. I have a sketch, not a very good sketch, and I just want to see if it works. And if it doesn't, you won't see this because there's no video. Actually, that's not very good. If it doesn't, I live and I learn, you know? So what I have, so this is the idea that I have. The first thing I need to do is cut all of these panels to the exact same size. And then I'll have to cut this piece of paper, a thicker piece of paper, into the same size as the panels. And then I can sketch, like what I have on my sketch. I can sketch it onto here and then use it as a template. And then on every single piece, I can trace exactly what I have on this. Here's my plan. First of all, you need this because You don't want to be breathing in the fumes. This is what I'll be using. It's contact cement, basically. It's good for everything. So here's the plan. When gluing, I'm gonna glue these two pieces together first, these two pieces together, these two pieces together. And why you do that is because you can't glue it all at once, because that means you would have to glue both sides, and I don't have a place where I can glue both sides because I would have to hang it, and I can't hang it. So I have to do it individually at a time. And then when you're gluing, the most important thing, especially with this stuff, you have to let it dry. If it doesn't dry and you put it together and it's still kind of wet, it doesn't set as well. And for this kind of project, you need it to set because there's no stitching. Only the glue is going to be the only thing holding it together. So I started with 8 pieces to glue, and now I'm down to 2 pieces to glue. But the thing is with this, it's a very time-consuming project, because when you do glue it, you have to have at least 2 hours in between gluing, and you have to put something very heavy on top of it. That's what these are for. And then this. So now I'm waiting for this to dry, and then once it dries, I put these together, and then I'm gonna set these, and I'm gonna have to let them set for about 2 more hours. Put that right there. After sitting all night with all this weight on it, we can now see if our idea worked. Let's go. So as you can see, the layers, they are stuck together. Well, better than I hoped. But it is very rough on the outside, if you can see like how nasty it is. And so what I have to do now is either I'm going to sand first and then use this knife that I got at Ace and just chip away slowly, or I use the knife first and then sand. I think I might use the knife first and get these really like fat pieces that aren't even aligned with it out, and then start to sand. But I'm also trying to figure out if I want to go like a more natural look with just like smooth edges, or more of like a Zion Brock look where it's like natural and like a bunch of edges that are kind of bumpy but still look smooth in its own way. So I guess as I cut and as I shape it, I can kind of go off that. It fucking broke? You kidding me? So now that I've finished all the sanding, the rough sanding, I guess, with the Dremel, all I have to do now is more of the fine sanding with like 120 to 400 grit. And I might bevel these edges. Yeah, I'm going to definitely bevel these edges to have a smoother finish. And what I'm thinking is I'm going to have 2 more pieces, maybe 1 more piece of leather at the bottom to fill the bottom here. And then I'm going to put it on a wood base. And then I was thinking also maybe to hold the screws for the long term. Or not hold the screws for long term, but hold the leather for a long term. I was thinking about putting these guys, just a normal flathead, kind of fancy looking. And I can just drill a small hole. And I can put them there and like all the space, all the places that might need a little extra reinforcement. So what I had to do was I sanded it all, and as I was sanding, I noticed that there was one piece, one layer that was like right here. You can't tell anymore, but I had to put super glue on it and then let it sit for I let it sit overnight, because you can't really use the glue that I usually use because you have to have it separated. But since it was already touching it, but it just had a little flap to it, I had to squirt some of this into it, and it looks like it did the trick. I don't know why it happened. Maybe I missed that glue. I'm hoping that's why, and it's not trying to come apart on me. But basically now I've just sanded everything from the inside, I don't know if you can tell, to the outside. And now I just need to shape it with this guy. So it's day 3, hopefully the final day. And I finished all the sanding that I could do, and now we have to burnish it. And I'm thinking to myself, if I burnish it and then put it on the piece of wood, or do I put it on the piece of wood and then burnish it? I'm also having trouble figuring out where to put these screws, and if I should use a bigger screw or a little screw, and I just don't know. That's the problem with the project. It's never been done. You don't have any idea. You just gotta go off like instinct and what you think would look good. So I finished sanding and burnishing this. Now what I have to do is sand this piece of wood and kind of get it similar. We'll kind of sand it down to where I have this line. And then once I sand this and get it down to what I want, I'm gonna glue a piece of leather on top, right here, like this. But obviously I'll cut this to size. And then what I'm gonna do is have that be this, so this will be the top, and then I'll have the actual catch-all go onto that. So then that will be the base, and then this will be the top part. That's the idea, at least. That's what I want to do, but we'll see how that goes. I got my base done. Just a piece of wood with some leather glued on top of it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lay this guy right here, trace it, glue it, and then what I'm gonna do is put these screws in. I'm guessing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, so 9. And I'm hoping that that should be enough for it to hold down. And then that's all I'll have to do, and then I'll be done. Alright, so after a night of setting, there she is right there. Nice. Okay. Well, looks like it's set. Yeah? Looks good. Alright. So now I have to drill. I don't know why I'm yelling. I have to drill. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you don't have to use a flathead, don't. But these were just way nicer than normal Phillips that I could find at the Ace. So this is why I had to use a flathead, but if you don't, stay away. Here we are again. Project 3 of the year. Because it's March, right? Yeah, Project 3. With this project, it's interesting because as I was making it, obviously this is the first time I've ever done something like this. This is the first time anyone's ever done something like this. I was having a realization that like the way that people usually make it, it's just like that one piece of leather and then the 4 snaps. With the amount of leather that I used, I could have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of those catch-alls. Instead, I used 9 pieces of leather to make my one catch-all. So at what point is it overdoing it, you know? Like, I enjoyed it, and I like mine better. There's a couple of things that I wish I could change just because it's the first time and this is like a prototype. But at the same time, I kind of like something with character, you know? Something with a little bit of soul. So I don't have a regret that I made it, but at the same time, you know, what what gets the job done versus almost like an art piece, I guess, you know? But speaking of the project, the thing that I wish I had was a big belt sander because as you can see, this guy, the wood, the base layer, not the top piece, isn't like flush with the actual leather itself. So I kind of wish that that was the thing, but at the same time, I kind of like the base of it. But it just looks so like big, you know, for just being a normal catch-all. Um, it's holding up well. I really do like the screws that I put in there. I like the layers. Maybe in the future, if I were to do it again, I would want to do different colors. This was just like scrap leather that I had from Horrorine. But if I were to do it again, maybe I could be more colorful, or I could do different kinds of tan leather and like different or I can have like a gradient where it goes like lighter to darker, or vice versa. But there's a lot of options you could do with this kind of stuff. The only thing that I'm still thinking about is the base. Like, how can I make the base more in tune, or yeah, more in tune with the actual catch-all itself? You know, this is just like what I had in my garage, and then a piece of leather. But I don't know. Let me know what you think. I guess. Would you want this? You know. Would you want this?
Congratulations. You made it. We all knew it was going to be you. It was always meant for you. And everyone's so proud of you. Keep going, keep going.